So the first thing for the Scotch egg is actually to boil the eggs. So I'm going to put some water on to the boil. I'm just using an induction hob rather than my main hob because it's easier to have it in front of me, so it's easier for you to see what I'm doing rather than working with my back turned to you if I was doing it on the gas hob. So the water, I did boil it just now, so it's a little bit warm already. It's not having to heat it all the way from cool. And because it's an induction hob, it should heat it fairly quickly. And I'm going to do 3 eggs because I had a packet of 6 sausages. I normally find it takes 2 sausages per egg. So if you've got a packet with 8 sausages, you could probably do 4 eggs. Okay, so that's nearly boiling now. So I'm going to take the eggs and lower them into the water carefully. I find it helps to have them on a spoon because if you just put them in, they sometimes fall into the water and then the hot water splashes and it will scald you. So when it comes to the boil, you need to set a timer, and if you like the eggs to be slightly soft, set it for 7 minutes. If you like them to be completely done, to be hard all the way through, then set the timer for 8 or 8.5 minutes. Then the next thing you can be doing is getting ready some flour to coat them in. So on this plate I've got 2 tablespoons of plain flour, and I'm going to season it with some salt and pepper. So quite a lot of white pepper and some salt. Now I'm just mixing that in with the spoon. Now that's boiling quite rapidly, so I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit. And for the sausages, I want to skin them. So I find the easiest way is to use a knife, a sharp pointed knife, and run it down the side of the sausage, and then you can peel the skin off it. You can of course use sausage meat as well, and then you wouldn't have to do this. But I normally find there's a better range of flavour sausages if you buy them as sausages rather than sausage meat. I quite like doing them with the Toulouse sausages, which are like the red wine and garlic ones, or with the sausages with chorizo in. So it's 2 for each Scotch egg, and you can roll it into a bit of a ball. So the timer has just gone off, so I'm going to stop the hob and I'm going to take these to the sink and run cold water over them. So I can then crack the eggs. I put the cold water on them because if you let them cool slowly, then they often end up with a grey ring around the yolk and the inside of them. But if you cool them quickly, it stays nice and yellow. So taken off all the shell, but I'll just give it a quick rinse in the cold water. So I'm flattening the meat out, putting an egg in the middle, and then bringing it around and just pulling it to make sure that it's fully covering the egg. So I'm going to coat the sausage mixture in beaten egg before then coating it in breadcrumbs. So I've broken an egg into the dish and I'm going to beat it up with a fork. So what this does, it seals the sausage meat to stop too much fat seeping into it, and it will also hold the breadcrumbs onto it. So what you do need to be very, very careful of is not to overheat the oil. This pan is on the hob, is thermostatically controlled, so I know it's not going to overheat. But you do need to take great care because you don't want it catching into flames if it gets too hot. So sort of keep an eye on it. What you can do is cut a cube of bread and put it in. And if it comes up to the surface and cooks to a nice golden colour in 2 or 3 minutes, you know it's ready. Or you can use a thermometer on it, and it should be between 170 and 180 degrees. I've actually got a laser guided thermometer, and that's exactly almost 170. It's 170.2. So the eggs, as the Scotch eggs, I'm going to coat them in egg. This bit can get a little bit messy. And then on the plate I've got 50 grams of breadcrumbs. These are dry white breadcrumbs. You can use fresh breadcrumbs as well. They tend to give a coarser finish, so dried ones are quite fine. Or you can use oriental breadcrumbs, something like panko. These will give a nice crispy finish to them. So that's one of them done. When you've got them at this stage, if you wanted to, you could chill them for up to a day before cooking them, if you want to get them sort of partly made in advance before you're serving them. So coat it in the egg and then in the breadcrumbs. So I'm going to use a metal spoon to lower these down into the oil. So say it's sunflower oil that I'm frying these in. I think I might only be able to get 2 in the pan. Actually no, I think 3 will just about fit in at the same time. So these need to cook for about 5 to 7 minutes. They should be a nice even colour all over. So I am just going to stir them with the metal spoon just occasionally to help make sure that they cook evenly. But this is where you do need to be really, really careful. I don't want anybody to be burning themselves with hot oil. So maybe it's better if you have an adult with you while you're doing this. I talked about using a saucepan and doing it on this hob, which is thermostatically controlled. If you've got a deep fat fryer, that's ideal as well, because that stops the oil from getting too hot. So these are now already looking nice and golden. I have got a thermometer, but I'm just going to do an extra check. It needs to be just stuck into the sausage meat, and it needs to be above 75 degrees, and those are at 85. That one that I tested was, so that is done now. So I'm going to lift it up and let the oil drop off. So you don't need a thermometer. I've made many of these in the past never using one, so it's not an essential thing. So letting the oil drip off it, and I'm putting it onto a plate on some kitchen roll to absorb any fat. So traditionally Scotch eggs were served hot, although it was actually Fort Masons that made them extremely popular as a sort of picnic type food, a cold food. So there's something that you can eat hot or cold. A lot of people claim that they should be eaten hot with gravy. I actually prefer them cold with salad, but it's up to you however you want, which is your favourite way of eating them. And you can be sort of quite adventurous with them. As I said, I've just used plain herby sausages, but you could mix the sausages with some black pudding in with it, or be creative with any other sort of flavours that you like. I've had smoked haddock ones before, and they were really good. So that's the Scotch eggs.